This is Stephen Dominguez from the Science Faction Podcast, and you're listening to the BS Podcast Network. Enjoy.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and I would not be the filmmaker I am today. Barely respected with no hits to my name, were it not for the wonderful world of Disney. We all love Disney, man. Whether it's the movies, the parks, the Marvel movies, what have you, man. Disney is in our DNA. And you know whose DNA it's really in? The Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee. You want to go Disney hard? Never Disney soft. That's the show for you. Magic Our Way podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's all the Disney. You looking for a little D or the big D? Magic Our Way's got it for you.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante san, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States of America. We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and this is a show in which every opinion is welcome. Oh, magicourway.com is where you can find us. Oh, the first of the year, and I forgot our website. What the hell?
Okay.
I know, it's been a year since we last recorded.
And you're Kevin.
And I'm Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Oh, you're Danny.
Yes.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, look, guys, for this episode, we are discussing Disney Pixar's latest offering, Soul. Again, my name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
And on this show...
Just to reiterate.
And on this show, we follow the Disney concept of edutainment, where we focus on your entertainment, and along the way, you just might learn a thing or two.
Hey.
And as always, to join in our discussion, we have a resident comic genius from ivorycomics.com, Mr. Eli Ivory. Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year to you guys, too. So you're Kevin and you're Danny, right?
Yes, and I'm Kevin, and he is Danny.
He's Danny.
Right. And you are Eli.
I am Eli. All right. I just wanted to make sure because, New Year's was pretty wild, so I just want to get my memory back, too. So.
I know, some of those cells and stuff were missing from my soul.
A few died, but it was a good battle.
Look at that, folks.
Yeah.
Even when you get close to 400 shows, you still need name tags.
Yes.
That's right, you do.
Yes.
Hello, my name is. And speaking of name tags, joining us is our resident travel agent from Magical Moments Vacations, the Shaggy TA. Hello, my name is Lee Lastavica. How you doing, Lee?
Hi, I'm Lee, and
You're an alcoholic?
And knowing's half the battle?
how you guys doing, man? How's the new year treating you?
What did he say? Hi, I'm Lee and what?
I think he just
I'm a
laughed.
Dizaholic.
Oh, you're Dizaholic.
Dizaholic.
Oh, Dizaholic. I'm glad you clarified the D. Happy New Year, sir.
How's it going over there, guys?
Cock's being a cock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bad
you gonna
timing.
do?
Bad timing.
But it's all good. We prevail, and we got a backup, and we're rolling. We're rolling this first new show of the new year. And just to reiterate what I said on the last show, Happy New Year to all the Mohicans and all the new listeners and all the old listeners and all the listeners that came back. All y'all people out there, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021.
Did y'all make any New Year's resolutions?
I said I would try to be a little more positive. I don't know how well that'll carry through, but that's what I
That's
told
already
myself.
being pessimistic.
Yeah. But I'm positive about it. It's,
Positive that
Yes.
you're not probably going to do that, right?
But I'm going to smile as I say it and do it. There you go.
What about you, Kev?
I didn't really make any resolutions, but just to continue what I've been doing, which I kind of started before holidays, just kind of working on myself, as far as weight loss and then just getting in shape and just working career kind of stuff, what I want to do and all that kind of business.
All right.
That's good.
Thinking about me. That's what I'm going to continue doing.
That's right. You focus on you.
I am.
I hear that.
Y'all's got the 3 kids. You work on you.
I do me.
Yeah.
I do all of me.
That's right. Because if you don't love you, who else going to love you?
Just me.
See how that put that positive spin on
And
it
you're
there?
Kevin.
Me? I thought it was
Yeah.
Danny.
Oh. Well, you can love Danny.
I can love. Oh, that's good.
What about you?
That's a little
Dan?
strange,
What was my New Year's resolution?
Or did you make one?
Yeah, well, we talked about general resolutions, and I think we're going to do more family game nights.
Oh,
There you go.
nice.
Because we've been...
Y'all used to do that.
Yeah, we did, and we've been accumulating a bunch of games, but as we get older, we just... it's like, oh, these are too many instructions to read, and we know how to play this better, and so it's like we're gonna try and do a family game night thing where we start trying to learn how to play some of these strategy games that we have here that we haven't opened yet.
You got a big ass stack. Right?
I know.
I'm looking at that.
You see it. There's the escape games.
Oh
and,
yeah, the escape games.
and the Jungle
Yeah.
Cruise game, the Haunted Mansion.
I've been
game.
wanting to try the Jungle Cruise
Haven't even
game,
tried any
yeah.
of those yet. A Villainous. That's another
Oh,
one.
You
there
got
you
a
go.
yeah.
Good things about. But yeah.
I didn't even. I was looking at that stack. I didn't even notice that stack.
Oh, there's more stacked.
Damn.
He's got a pair of stacks.
You like Games R Us up in here? and
Totally
stuff.
stacked.
Hey Lee, what about you, man? Any resolutions from the Beard Man?
I'm not going to say resolutions. I've already decided that if and when we get through COVID, that the beard will go.
Really?
So that will be the big thing that we'll be looking forward to this year. Is COVID's gone, the beard is gone. We're going to start fresh and do it that. But until then, it's still growing, and I'm still showing.
So now, when you say you're going to start fresh after you shave the beard, does that mean you're just going to grow the beard right back?
No. I mean, I'll have a fresh look.
Oh,
that fresh cut.
No more shaggy TA.
oh no!
No more Shaggy TA.
That's one of your taglines.
I'll be the dapper TA.
Oh,
Dapper
the
TA.
Dapper TA. You have a little bow tie and stuff.
Well, if you let it grow any longer, you'll be the nappy TA.
Give me some dreadlocks going.
The
Yeah.
nappy dugout TA.
Well, you guys, I did make a podcast resolution.
oh, okay.
And I am determined to get us a live streaming video feed so people can see our face while we make this magic.
Oh, we're sorry.
And
Wait, don't you want to keep fans?
I don't know. When my workout, I might attract fans.
All right.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay. Right on.
Did Lee know about this, and that's why the beard's going?
Well, he's just going to hold up his beard to cover his face.
Oh, like the cousin It of
Yeah,
the Magic
he's
Hour
the cousin It.
podcast. Got it.
And he might part the curtains every now and then to talk. I think.
Like Captain Caveman or something. Just fur everywhere.
Yeah, it actually did sign us up for a Twitch account. I don't know what to do with it yet. But I'm tapping into the young folk of the Mohican universe to help me out with this.
Isn't Twitch like when you play a video game and you comment on the video game you're playing so people see that?
Yeah, but there's also podcasters on there too, I discovered.
Okay.
So they'll live stream the recordings, and they'll, depending on the number of viewers, you can make money off of that too, kind of like YouTube. So I'm like, money?
I was going to say, I play a mean Spider-Man if they want to record that.
Man.
While,
You want to start a gaming channel? For the weekends?
That's what we all do.
You and Austin, you could do it.
He still owes me a wrestling game, I think. or
Uh-oh.
something, man.
Austin, you heard that? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Well, guys, look. For today's show, as I stated at the top of the show, we are discussing the latest Disney Pixar offering, Soul, which was released to Disney Plus on Christmas Day 2020. So y'all enough of my jibber jabber. Or our jibber jabber. Or Kevin's jibber jabber. What the hell name I am? I don't know.
You're Kevin.
I'm Kevin.
Yes.
All right, good.
You don't know much, but you know you're Kevin.
And that's all you need to know.
And I know I love you.
That's all it needs to be.
And with that, guys, let's go discuss some soul magic. Yeah.
Soul Train!
Mohicans, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on the hub, the main topic segment of our show. And for today, we are discussing Soul, which I said is the latest Disney Pixar offering released on Christmas Day 2020. Disney, they should make Disney. I like that now.
Tisnar.
Disney. Well, anyway, guys, look, it was directed by Pete Docter and Kemp Powers, and it was written by Pete Docter, Kemp Powers, and Mike Jones. The movie features a star-studded cast of voices such as Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey in the lead roles, along with Donnell Rawlings, Questlove, Angela Bassett, Daveed Diggs, and a favorite of this show, Mrs. Huxtable, Dr. Marsh herself, Felicia Rashad.
And you mean this isn't the one with Snoop Dogg flying the plane with Kevin Hart?
It should be.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wish it was.
Watched the wrong movie. Oh, well. I'll wing it.
Well, anyway, y'all, look.
Nice pun. I like that.
Well, anyway, guys, look, it's been at least a couple of weeks since this movie has been released, which should be enough time for y'all to have seen it. In case you haven't, we will start, as always, with a quick non-spoiler discussion, but then quickly transition into a spoiler-filled discussion of magnitude. And we will be sure to give you ample opportunity to hit pause before we jump right into it. Guys, so let's begin our non-spoiler portion of the show with our feelings of this movie as a whole? Who would like to begin?
I just wanted to start since I know that you guys are all in the room together, and I cannot see you, and I can barely hear you because we're having all these internet connections. So let me just throw my little 2 cents in and let you guys chat it out. But I had like a little smart-ass comment to say, this was the best Pixar movie of 2020. But then I remember they actually had Onward released this year too. So, my thing with this, the whole thing with this movie was that I watched it one time and I immediately wanted to watch it again, but not so much because I was so entertained, but because I felt like I just didn't quite understand it. I didn't quite get it. Like, I understood the message, but maybe I missed something. I just felt like I felt like I missed something.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, man, I really want to watch it again. And then after watching it, I'm still not sure that I get it. I've watched it twice now, and I'm still kind of a little befuddled by this movie. I'm not sure what to think about it. I was entertained. I enjoyed it, but it also didn't resonate with me as something like, man, I could watch that 100 times again. Like some movies, you walk out of the movie or you finish watching and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to watch that again. Or you walk out of the movie theater and you're like, I can't wait till that comes out on DVD or on streaming so I can watch it again. But I didn't get that vibe with this one. I don't know why. And I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't overwhelmed by it like I normally am with a really good Pixar movie.
All right. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, Lee, what would you give it then?
Yeah. So like I'd probably say like a 6 or a 7. Okay. I mean, it's not a bad movie at all. It's not a Cars 2.
Sorry, Austin.
It's not on that level, but it's...
Congrats on the fantasy football win.
That's right, Austin. Congrats on your Cards 2 fantasy football.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's winning. But
good Lord.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely not top 10 Pixar movies. It's going to be in the lower middle for me overall rankings.
Okay, and what's the likelihood that you would watch it again, say in a month, 2 months?
I'd say probably 0. To be honest. I've seen it twice. I don't really feel an overwhelming need to see it again, unless someone, I might change my mind by the end of this show, but at this point, I don't really have any intention of seeing it again. I don't know that I would, purchase it on video since I, can see it anytime on Disney Plus, but even without that, it's not one of those ones I got to own, and need to have in my collection.
And would you say that you probably would have liked it less if you had to pay for it in the theater?
That's a good question. I don't. My gut says no because I was entertained. Don't get me wrong. I was entertained. I just didn't. It didn't have that those feels that I normally get from Pixar. Also, as I didn't get as much humor as I think I normally am used to. So maybe I would have felt a little worse about if I'd have paid, $10 to see it, but I think I'm still okay with it one way or the other. I mean, either I pay that or I pay my monthly, Disney Plus bill. So I think it evens out.
Okay,
cool.
All right, E, you wanted to go next? Go ahead.
I didn't really put a number to it, but I would have gave it like I wanted to at least give it a B plus, but I had to give it like a B minus. And I know we'll get into the details. I just think overall, if it would have been a different genre of movie than a Pixar movie, I think it would have been a completely different style and a lot more headier stuff could have been explained. Because to me, it was too heady, and it didn't need to be that heady. There was some parts in there where I identified with. And that's the only saving graces for me in some parts. Just the philosophies of life and art, stuff like that. Because I have kind of been this guy in a certain sense, except for the dying part. But
thank goodness, by the way.
Yeah. But the overall thing of it was like it kind of jumped back and forth a lot. And I had to watch it twice too, but mainly because I fell asleep a lot on watching the movie. No matter what time I tried to watch it. That's not a good sign. And I know of some other people that watched it. My daughter, for one, she fell asleep on it too. And she wasn't even with me when she watched it.
I fell asleep on it as well.
Yeah. What if I'd had to pay for this in the movie theater, would I have been upset? Yes, because I would have had to pay another $10 to watch it to understand what happened. So, Lee, you're not alone in the what did I watch part. And there's some parts in the beginning of it that doesn't really correlate, at least to me, as to why it was in there. Maybe it does for y'all, and hopefully it's better explained to me. But yeah, overall, it was, some parts made sense, but a good chunk of it for what it was supposed to be came off as confusing.
Okay, cool. And if you were, the question about if you were to watch it over next month,
no, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't watch it? Okay. Likelihood, I guess that's the question. Yeah.
No, I already watched it twice. Unless I need a nap, then I would put it on. Yeah, I would do that.
Cool. Cool. Danny?
I liked it fine. Obviously, I did not love it. I've seen it now 2.5 times, and I probably don't need to be watching it again anytime soon. I started off watching it with my daughter. She left.
She left?
She left the room.
Wow.
Like a little less than midway through, she walked out of the room. I think it's one of those movies, it's too strong for a kid, but not strong enough for an adult, if that makes any sense. It's like you watch it and you're like, I want to see that again, because there's probably some concepts that are going over my head, as you said and as Lee said, and you watch it again the second time and it's like, no, it didn't go over my head. I got it just fine. It was meant to be enjoyed on that surface level. It's like so many of the things that you see when they go to not the afterlife, but the before life.
Oh, before life, yeah.
You get to see different areas that I'm not going to name because I'm sure we'll get into it. And kind of like a video game, it's kind of like you just want to, you play in a video game and it's like one of those world games and you just pause it at some point in time, or you just don't follow the story and you just explore. There were points there where I wanted to explore. And so when I went back and saw it again and really kind of get into it, and it's like, yeah, that's about what it is. It's not as intriguing. It wasn't like being in the world of Onward or Ralph with the Internet or something like that, where there were little things like I'm going to look for and different references I wanted to catch. So as much as I liked the concept of the movie, it fell flat. I mean, there was something about it where it was funny, but it wasn't all that humorous. It gave you it was emotional, but it didn't quite give you the feels. It was conceptual, but it wasn't mind-blowing. It just seemed to fall short time and time again on things, and not in a catastrophic way, but just in a way to make me say, this is something extraordinary. So I guess that's the best way I could sum it up without getting into specifics.
Yeah, excellent.
No, wait, D. So you give it a grade, a number?
Oh, God. C+, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I give it a C+.
Well, I went with the number thing, as we mentioned. So I'm hovering between a 7 and an 8. As we've mentioned a lot of the movies and stuff, reviews and stuff. I didn't love it. And let me preface this. As a story as a whole, I didn't love it. I liked it. Mm-hmm. Likelihood of me watching it in about a month depends if I'm in the mood to do it. Mm. If I'm in the mood to watch a movie like that, I will. But there's nothing like, it's not like Coco where it's like I gotta actually watch that. Mm-hmm. But if it comes on TV, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know if it'd be enough to hold my attention. I can tell you though, upon watching the first time, my kids have 3. Right, I have 11-year-old, and 9-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And the 3 kids, first time we watched it, they weren't as excited. Mm-hmm. The second time I watched it, the oldest was into it with me, and then the 2 younger ones were like, they were kind of still off doing their own thing. So it didn't really capture them, I felt, in my house.
That makes sense.
If I would have watched this in the movie theater and paid money for it, I wouldn't have been upset, but I could tell you that the review would have been a lot different.
Yeah.
Because upon first viewing, there were a couple of things that I missed. Upon second view, it was just kind of clarified, but it didn't really make it any better for me. I just kind of understood it more. Now, I will tell you in terms of the artistry and the animation stuff, I will give it a 10.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first time in my life I've actually seen musicians portray an animation well. Mm-hmm. I can tell you the way the lady was animated playing the sax and the piano and even the drums was really accurate. I want to know if they did like some kind of motion capture thing to make it even look like it's supposed to look.
Pixar never does motion capture.
Yeah,
Kevin.
I know.
Never.
But I that's the only way I can see it, unless they got like some freaking musician animator on the payroll and he was just doing it all because it was pretty damn near accurate. I mean, that's what I would look like if I was playing drums with those exact notes that the guy was laying down. So I thought it was pretty cool. I'll give it to them. They did their research in regards of what music educator, especially in beginner level, works through. And looking at not the show notes, the credits, it looks like they did do their research as far as all the heady stuff.
There's some classics in there. Some guys that did some classic style of music.
Absolutely. And also, I'm curious if I was a psychologist or any kind of neurologist or something like that, if I would have had a different take on it, if I would have viewed this differently. Because it did look like they did use some of those resources upon looking at the credits. They researched a lot of aspects like that, or resources like that on a psychological level. So I enjoyed it from an artistic point of view and talking about how it looks, how it was drawn, how everything like that, drawn, quote unquote.
Yeah, style. Yeah.
Story wise, I liked it. I can't say I loved it. I would still buy it because I'm a Disney fan, right? But it's on Disney Plus, so it's okay. I can watch it whenever if I want to watch it.
So it wasn't crazy over your head kind of stuff. To be fair, the first time through watching it, it was at the end of the night on Christmas Day, and so usually what I do on holidays is I just cook and drink all day. So by 7 o'clock at night, after having eaten a big meal, it's pretty tough. I should have started my day with it, and just to kind of let you know what we did. I started cooking, drinking, breakfast. I did this all day. Watched Wonder Woman 84. Watched the Saints game, and then watched Soul at 7 o'clock at night. So by that point, it's like, it was kind of tough anyway to fight. I think whatever movie I was watching would have hurt. But that movie didn't help to keep my attention, to keep me awake. Yeah.
Sure. So I did doze off a couple of times. I bring up the musician part because, of course, I'm friends with a lot of musicians. And being the token musician on the show, and I see a lot of posts like, man, if you're a music educator, you got to watch this. And I can understand. I can relate to that. But I feel like it's not just about music education. There's an overall story that goes beyond it. It just happens to pick that particular art form. I think they could have used any art form, visual or performance, in that story, and it still would have worked. It's the same kind of dynamic. But it did just happen to pick a music educator, which I guess is great. I appreciate that. But anyway, that's my overall take on it.
Yeah, I won't go further into it because you say it's just not the spoiler part, but I can see from the education point there were some things that I think would have helped build the Jamie Foxx character more, but it was kind of like what Danny said too, is like they would give you enough to be like, here's your serving, you're not going to get full, but you get like a nice taste, and don't ask for seconds. And I think if they could have delved into that part a little bit more, and I don't want to get into it, I think that would have made it a more well-rounded movie, because I wanted to like the characters more than I was given the leeway to do.
I can see that. Like they rushed through it.
Yeah.
We're a bunch of middle-aged men. Maybe not middle-aged. We're middle-aged.
We're middle-aged.
Sure. Let's say that.
We're right there.
And this movie revolves around two concepts: death and the midlife crisis. Two things that are pretty complex for children to understand. So I totally understood when my daughter checked out.
Yeah.
It didn't shock me. That's what I'm saying. It's too strong for a kid, not strong enough for an adult kind of thing. But I was acutely aware of it because I'm like, my God, this is like Kevin. Because Kevin was a music teacher at one point in time. And this was his whole thing, to inspire students to learn and pick up instruments and play. And there are people who listen to this show right now that are former students of yours. So I was interested to hear your input on it. So I'm glad you kind of went last.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it's probably a different view. And I like that you said midlife crisis. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it is like, I'm going to bring it. I totally related to the music teacher aspect of it. Because, I basically went through the same thing, if not going through it right now. But now that you mentioned the midlife crisis thing, I was like, I'm curious to explore that too. Because if you don't have that background, as far as going to that, you'll relate to this in a totally different way.
Sure.
Which I could, absolutely. Midlife crisis. When you mentioned that, it started calculating in my head. I'm like, if based on the information that they only gave you, that definitely seems like a very plausible thing.
Sure, and that's what I guess where my disappointment in this lies is that because, and I don't think this is giving any spoilers away, but this is where my disappointment with the movie more lies than anything else. As a person who is more likely to sympathize with what this guy is going through, all of us really, I came away from that movie not feeling like I learned anything new that I haven't learned from any of the typical Pixar, the journey is more important than the destination kind of message films, which has kind of become standard. It's a familiar, it's like the Pixar proverb, you know? It's something that they kind of repeat many, many, many times over the course of their films. And when I saw the way this one played out, I wasn't as big of a fan of the way they did it. I didn't think they did it near as well as they've done it in other films. So I was a little bit disappointed by how it worked out. You know, I get every Pixar film's got to go through this, where whatever the character's motivation was, that's secondary to what they learned during the journey. We saw it in Onward, we saw it in Cars, you see it over and over and over again. It just didn't play as well in this movie.
Did it bring anybody to tears?
No.
I cried because I woke up.
You cried because you woke up?
Yeah.
Someone asked me that, like, is it too emotional? I said, no, this is the least emotional Pixar movie there is out there. Like, there was no chopping onions whatsoever. Maybe a slight little bitty bit at the end, but, that's typical, Disney movies. They should affect you somewhat emotionally anywhere, but this is definitely the least chopping of onions of any Pixar movie there is.
Yeah.
And I think we could maybe probably skirt around this a little bit and discuss this in the spoiler-free section without really saying too much.
Sure.
But how much of that do you put on the Jamie Foxx lead character, and how much of that do you put on the sidekick character?
As far as making you cry?
No, as far as not delivering on really giving you the feels, as though, like, because there were moments in the movie where, like, oh, I identify with that.
Yes.
But... And so it's like I said, it was emotional without giving you the feels. It's like Pixar light. I don't know how else to put it. It's just
because it was crazy. Like you say, you can't spoil it, but there's parts of the movie where they can't really allow you to empathize with any one of them because there's a very specific thing that happens where the situation is that you want to feel for the Tina Fey, can I say that? Like the Tina Fey character.
Right. Yeah, I mentioned that. She's in the show. Yes.
So you want to feel for the Tina Fey character because of what they are going through. But really, it's kind of like they're so snarky that I just was like, yeah, whatever. Like, you're just like a spoiled brat. And you're just, well, whatever I feel, I'm just going to react. But you have an impact on Jamie Foxx to where, I can't feel sorry for you because of how Jamie Foxx is tied into it. Like,
let me just say, tough. Let me say this in a shorter way.
I'm done.
No. The Tina Fey character was weak.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
That's just my takeaway. She was no Dory. And she needed to be a Dory to carry the attention of children. And she needed to be a Dory to make you care about when, as you put it, she messed over the Jamie Foxx character at one point in time. You needed to like her and like what she brought and buy into some sense of childhood innocence. And they just did not give you a much to like about this character.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's approaching it as middle-aged men.
That's possible.
Yes, because I thought that the character's name related to the age of my daughter and, the people she surrounds herself with, to which I have no sympathy for them. So totally get that.
All right, well, let's get into Spoilerfoot, guys. We're transitioning over to the Spoilerfoot part of this show. It's going to be full of spoilers. Spoiler. Oil in your spoiler. Keep your car on the road, spoiler.
Yes.
All those kind of spoilers, guys. We're transitioning.
Grip it tight.
Grip it tight. There are a bunch of spoilers coming, so if you don't want to hear it, make sure that you hit pause, go watch the movie, then come back and listen to the rest of the show, because I'm about to get into it right now. Look, guys, because of the actions of Joe, he gets a second shot at life. That's the best I could do as far as spoiler-free, but I don't know what else I'm not going to divulge on that one. But yeah, he doesn't just die, but he gets a second shot at life. Very lucky man.
Yeah, but I feel... As an artist, this is where I wanted to go. It's like I wanted to empathize with it. And my daughter actually pulled up a picture. She's like, that's you if you were animated. I'm like, I don't even wear a hat. But okay, I get it.
Joe?
Yeah. Brother with glasses, totally get it.
Nah, it was more of a Floyd Norman thing, if you ask me.
I was about to say, you're more built than Joe was.
That's why I have no sympathy for the 22-year-old because they don't know.
He's more like a.
Are you contemplating legal action right now? No, I took that as a tribute to Floyd Norman, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No, that's fair. I'm not. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't mind the style of it, but yeah. So like Joe is, like you say, he's a musician. I just said that he's an art teacher, and he's just like in his own spot. He gets a shot to do something that he's always wanted to do, which I empathize with that. But then it's like what he's set to do, like this concert, he gets to play with the lady and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's not like how do I say this? It's not like she's super world famous or she was the character or the quartet is built to be super world famous. It's not like they're playing in Carnegie Hall. You know what I mean? It's like even then for his goal, I felt that they didn't give it the impact that it needed.
Well, but I mean, it's a fictional world. I mean,
But
Dorothy. Go ahead, Lee.
I was saying, she is someone somewhat famous. She's a legend in those circles because if you remember in the class and he looked up the picture, she was in one of those pictures. So she's somebody that is known in the jazz circles. Now, you could say the same thing for probably most jazz musicians, to be honest with you. There aren't that many that are super famous. But I think if you're a jazz, and I'm not a huge jazz fan, I don't know who's who, but, I think that genre of music lends itself to not being as many world famous celebrities in the jazz scene, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But she's definitely someone that he knew who she was, and he looked up to her, and he had a picture of her on the wall, so that would be a big deal for him to be able to play with her.
Yeah, I guess so, but
I mean, it's a fictional world. So you don't know how famous she is or isn't.
But that's the thing. You don't know. You're supposed to at least feel like this is the culmination of what this guy is able to do.
Right, but they did a good job of getting her over as the end-all, be-all of his career. I never, at one point in time, I had many critiques, many thoughts, many problems with the film, but I never at any point in time said, yeah, I don't buy that she's famous enough for him to play with to really realize his dream. I bought his motivation. I mean, you could see it, you could feel it. He wanted to get back. This is my big shot. This is the one break. This is Dorothea Williams. I got to do this.
Yeah, even the barber knew who she was. Yeah. The barber was like, oh, what? Yeah, you're going to play with her? That's amazing.
And as an educator, he was offered a full-time job from being part-time, and he was hesitant to take that because he really wanted to be a performing musician.
Yes.
So I guess on that level, I completely sympathize it. I assume this was taking place in New York of some sort, right? Yeah. Or a New York-like place.
Definitely New York, yeah.
It was definitely New York. The guy in the subway had a New York Knicks cap on, the one that was playing for tips. He had a New York Knicks cap on.
That's right, and they cursed the Knicks. Remember the guy tried to dunk?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Like
she keeps messing with that team for how many years?
Yeah. That was funny. That was funny.
But
it's cute.
Knowing that it's New York, musicians of that caliber, especially in the jazz circles and stuff, or the musician world, are pretty much a dime a dozen, right? But musicians that are no names that want to get into that world are probably even more so a dime a dozen. I don't even know. There's a ton of them. Yeah. Everybody up there looking for their big break, looking for that big gig. I was in that boat at some point when I was younger, at least down here in a much smaller market. But you're always hoping to get that big gig that's going to break you. And, music education is considered like a backup to your performing plans.
Yes.
Which a lot of people will do. I mean, when I was teaching college, I'll be honest, I used to tell my students, it's like, why are you studying music? It's like, yeah, I want to be a performer. It's like, you don't need a degree to perform. I'm sorry. It's you get a bachelor's of music and you think somebody's just going to hand you a gig? No.
Yep.
What do you think you got to do? Play? He's like, yeah. It's good that you come to university for lessons, but you could probably pay cheaper somewhere else with somebody one-on-one to get cheaper lessons.
Yeah. And that's the same thing being a visual artist. And that's where I came at it from. So I forgive me about the thing with getting in the club. But yeah, it's the same thing. You like, here, just show them art. And like, yeah, don't you want, like, I felt for him. He was like, hey, he's playing the piano for all the kids. And, and he was like, man, this is what gets you inspired. And I like that part of it. Like,
and he was shot down by that one girl. Like, I'm only 12.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not thinking of that.
It's like, those kids don't care. They don't care. And I get that even being a visual artist, it's like, you want to live your dream, but you got to live to eat.
And that's why I said you probably could use any kind of visual performing art as part of this, to use this as think for your story, because that wasn't the overall story. Was about the music educator.
Yeah.
It's about that, living your best life. I don't know if that's even the message or whatever.
Yeah, I hate that living your best life term. I hate that.
Yeah, I can't stand it either.
I've got one really major flaw where this movie really goes off the rails for me and takes it from being like around a B into C territory. I can get into that now, or I can let y'all talk about other things.
No, go into it. You got it. You got it.
I mean, this is really the main flaw that this movie has for me as far as I'm concerned, because I was drawn in by the world of the before life, not the afterlife, the before life, where you could see this, that, and the other. And
that weird before life, you mean not before he died? Yeah, I see it.
Existential plane,
right? Before life, where they're handing out personalities.
Yes. Okay,
yeah, you've
that
Jerry
weird
and
2D figure.
You got that ocean of sand, and you're in the zone, and the zone is a place for lost souls and souls that are achieving, and then these souls can cross over from plane to plane, and it's really. It's very fascinating. Again, it's something that kind of hooks you when you watch it the first time, and then in subsequent viewings you realize, okay, it's kind of a one-trick pony kind of thing. It's not as deep as all that. They also had like the Hall of Everything and the Hall of You, and you put your hand in the Hall of You, and the Hall of You is where this movie frickin' fell apart for me. Because Joe is I'm a mentor now. I'm going to mentor the soul. I'm going to put my hand on this thing right here, and I'm going to give her the spark she needs, because when she sees how I've lived my life and how much jazz has meant to me and everything like that, she is going to feel wonderful, and she's going to want to, boom, she'll get that earth pass. I'll take it, and I'll go on down. And he puts his hand there, and what do they show? They show him sweeping up. They show him doing laundry. There's a monument to him doing laundry, in fact.
That's right.
There's a statue of this man sitting there with his chin in his hand doing laundry. They show him eating alone. They show a very lonely, depressing, and he's looking around like, wait, this isn't how I remember this. And they're showing him get just rejection after rejection after rejection. Even 22's like, really? This is what you want to show me? And he's like, man, my life has been meaningless. The dude didn't think his life was meaningless until he went into the Hall of You. And so now that makes the action that he needs to take even more important, because now he's trying to redeem his life because he's wasted it. And so now it makes it even more important. He's got to get back to Earth. He's got to do this. And then what does the movie do at the end? The typical Pixar, well, it wasn't about whether or not you achieved your goals. It was how you lived your life. And then at the very end, what do they show? As he's sitting there playing the piano and he's going into his zone, he's thinking of his dad and his dad teaching him music, and he's thinking about time with his mom and standing on the beach and watching fireworks and all these things. And it's like, oh, it's not whether or not you got to live your dream, is how you lived in between the moments of your life. That was what was important. And it's like, if you want me to accept that, that's fine. Then why the hell did you have to depress us and really made us think that this guy had a shitty life? I mean, they beat you over the head with that at the beginning.
Pretty big, yeah.
There was no way that dude, none of us walked away from that thinking that guy had good moments. So the Hall of You manipulated him. if this is what we're going with, if what they're saying is true, no, his life wasn't wasted, then the Hall of Life manipulated him into thinking that he had a shitty life.
Damn, that's deep, yeah. Because he was that doctor before, whatever he was posing as, and that dude was like, had Nobel Peace Prize and stuff. What they saying, brother musicians ain't got no life? Nah, I'm sinking. I'm losing my positivity from the beginning of the year.
They start off the movie with playing it When You Wish Upon a Star, and the kids that he is teaching are all playing it, and they're just playing it
terribly.
It's great.
I loved it.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was so perfect. And when you find out he's a school band teacher, then it makes total sense. You know, it's like, oh, here he is with all these kids that don't know how to play the tunes, and they're all off, and the beat is off and everything. I thought it was a perfect way to open the movie.
Sucking up M&Ms and shooting iPhones out into other kids' instruments.
They just beat you over the head with this guy. He doesn't. Maybe once every 5 years he inspires a student. Maybe once one student goes on and then they do better than what he did or something like that. But they paint the picture of such a depressing existence.
I give you that and a +1, because really I didn't even think about that. I mean, not to that level of him being depressed. I remember he was watching TV, but like before that, I kind of had him pictured as being a real selfish person, because how he wanted to go ahead and, you know, get the Earth pass and all of that stuff, so he could just, like, remember they had that little scene, he just hurry up, runs back, plays the music, and he comes out and everybody's like throwing roses at him or whatever, and, you know, it's like, oh, well, he's all about him, and they do add different conflicts with that character where it's hard to kind of get a consistent beat to where you can feel for him. If you could, take that.
If anything, they make you hate the women in his life, don't they?
What? Oh, besides his mom?
His mom?
Who was Lisa? Like, I thought they was going to show Lisa.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, at some point there, you're like, he's got to go back to Earth. Because you've already painted the picture of him just being this miserable, depressed person. You can show us all the little happy moments of him standing on the beach, but that is not enough to go in the great beyond, thinking that you succeeded when your monument is you doing laundry.
Yes.
You can't show us that. So you knew he had to go back, and I was at least hoping, because the movie ends abruptly. It's like, hey, you're going back. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get a montage. He's doing great. He's playing with Dorothea. He's inspiring kids. He's met with Lisa.
But yeah, he got babies.
No.
They're doing all kind of stuff.
Movie over.
And that was what I said earlier in the spoiler-free part. That's what made it lose points. Because, he didn't get to redeem anything.
No.
Everything, like any basic movie, starts off where you're the loser, and then at the end of it, you've done something where everybody admires you, and everybody's like, yeah. Like, even 22. Like, I don't know what happened to 22. I don't really care, but I'm just saying.
I don't either.
Right? Like, they don't do anything where you start the path with, if you want, would you call it a hero's journey? I don't know. I mean, that's the lack of a better word. There's no redemption at the end for, like, who the hell ends a movie where the guy just walks out the door and just smiles? Like, you don't even get a sunset. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get no sunset in Brooklyn or nothing. Like, brother can't walk out in the street, meet Lisa out there, and there's something like, I almost died, but now I'm living life, girl. Let's have a baby.
Yeah, it's like walk out, black soul.
That's it.
Screen credits.
Right. And I'm like, what? Like, that's it?
Well, you're right.
It was only an hour and 40-something minute movie. They could have given you a 5-minute montage.
Or would you have been okay with it if they did it during the credits instead of having those stupid soul kids?
Yes,
Fine.
absolutely.
Good.
Like,
I thought that would've been
after, in between credits thing.
Yeah. How did you always do that? I thought that would have been great. I
stayed throughout the whole credits because I figured there was going to be something coming along. But no, once the time, then I started fast forwarding through it. It's like, there's nothing there.
Yeah. When something came up, were you disappointed like I was?
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
The very, very end?
Yeah, your boy's like, hey, go home.
Why you here? I was like, you Ferris Bueller now? That's what we got. Thank you.
My whole thing with this movie was that it never seemed to know what kind of movie it wanted to be. Like, does it want to be a movie about, the existential crisis and, the meaning of life? Does it want to be a buddy movie with the straight man and the crazy person? And does it want to be a Freaky Friday movie where you switch bodies? Or does it want to, it's like,
that's
there was
fair.
like too much going on, man. Like pick a lane and let's tell a story from this perception and from this point of view. And, it's going to be, I would have been fine if the whole movie was just them being switched bodies or something.
I wouldn't have.
Or if we had spent more time. I don't care if we spend more time in the before life place, or if that gets totally cut out and we spend more time on Earth. But, pick one.
Yeah.
There was, 5 different things going on in this movie.
I was going to say, I agree with you, because it was kind of like, now, I might be dating myself really badly, so I don't know if y'all seen these movies before, but it was like if The Heavenly Kid, you ever saw this movie? It was this 80s movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Warren Beatty.
Oh, I did. Well, no, that's Heaven Could Wait.
Oh, my bad. But
it's probably the same concept. Somebody goes up to heaven or whatever, and then they say you got to come back down and help this person. But this was that in reverse. And then so if you take that, you take All of Me, the Steve Martin movie with Lily Tomlin, and they switch bodies. You take that, you mix it with The Fugitive, and that's what you got. That's literally what you got. And that was really, you talk about with him switching bodies with the cat, that was funny for 10 minutes. Then I was over it. Mm-hmm. But I did if we're going to put a positive in here, I did like the accountant guy being hey, somebody's missing, and
with
then
the abacus,
with the abacus, and he's doing this hunt. Terry,
everyone else is Jerry. He's Terry.
He's Terry. And he does.
Or she's Terry. I think it was a she.
They're all Terry. They were all Terry.
It's a female. It's a female, but it sounds like a guy, but it's a female voice.
Oh, that does make you hate females. Then somebody's going to kill you when they get a chance. So I liked that aspect of it, where it was okay, there's this impending danger and you forget about it. That was cool because there's so much stuff going on. When he came out the barbershop, which is a favorite scene of mine. But the accountant hits that one guy who's not him, and
David Diggs.
That was scary. Like that was like a power where you're like, damn, like he just boom, he's just out. He's just there. It's all black and stuff, and the dude's like, ooh. Oh, she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I so made a mistake. Like, forget
it's
about
not
it.
Your time unless you eat those processed foods.
Yeah, don't eat the processed. Like that was okay. That part freaked me out. And then, like when he said, "Don't eat the processed food," I kind of got a chuckle, but I was like, "Yeah, okay, this person is scary." Like, now if they had started off maybe with that some kind of way where he escaped and this and that, and this thing was after him, maybe I could have gotten a little more wrapped into it.
What if you saw that character later in the movie in the background reading a How to Be a Vegan book?
Right.
Again, this is how poorly to me I think that this movie would resonate. How many kids got that processed food joke, you think?
No.
How many kids got the Knicks joke?
No.
How many kids got the whole, it's hard enough for a man like me to get a cab joke?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
The soul crushing, that's for Earth. How many kids got that joke?
Right.
I mean, all the jokes with Copernicus, the universe doesn't revolve around you, when all the historical figures that were trying to teach 22.
Oh, yeah, Muhammad Ali.
That they kept flashing back to. How many kids got those jokes? How many kids got the Tetris joke?
Yeah, it's like, who's the audience?
That's the thing. It's like, you know, I these jokes aren't great jokes. I'm not laugh out loud jokes. They're kind of like,
They keep
like,
it going.
It's like, okay, I get it. Like that. Oh, that's very heady. That's witty. Thank you, Lee. That's
Makes
a good
me want
word.
to snap.
It's clever.
I want to snap.
It's
like the
witty.
kids do.
Yeah.
Instead of clapping, I'll snap.
But it's not funny enough to be a comedy.
It didn't.
The jokes just, there was humor, but it wasn't really what it needed to be. And going back to what you said about the cat, and when they woke up and he's in the cat's body and she's in his body, I rolled my eyes. I'm like, oh, this is not what I want to see. I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
I don't want to see where this is going. You brought up a lot of good movies. The movie that I'm sure no one here has probably ever seen but me, that I wanted to see them go with, was Defending Your Life, which is the Albert Brooks movie. Have anybody seen that?
I've never seen it.
All right,
No.
go watch that. That was what this movie should have been. It was about a guy who died and was stuck in this way station of life. And basically, in order to move on to the great beyond or to go back, be sent back on Earth, you had to defend your life. And it was like a trial. Your soul was put on trial. And meanwhile, in the midst of being on trial, you would go around and you'd experience all the different things in this heavenly waste. They call it like a waste station of life kind of thing. It wasn't, I can't say heavenly.
Kind of like what they said in this movie. Yeah.
That's it exactly.
Like
and I'm
a
like,
waste station, yeah.
oh man, it's such a defending, and I love that movie. It's a really clever movie, and it's Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. It's a good movie. Go catch up. But that's what I was hoping to see. I wanted to stay there. I wanted to stay in that otherworldly plane. And if we had to visit down below, we would visit it in different levels, kind of like what they did in that movie through flashbacks or through scenes where they would actually examine the life.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of that, but you know, to have to do it through the whole familiar trope of the people switching the bodies and stuff like that. Then there was that scene where, again, I don't even know if kids would catch this, where he holds the cat up to push the elevator button, and he sees the cat's asshole, and he kind of makes a face. And I'm wondering, are kids catching why he's making a face right there?
Oh, my kids did.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, because you're kids.
Yes, they're my kids.
They got
yes.
cats over
and we have
there.
a cat who shows his a lot.
You know what? That's okay. So really quick, that afterlife world.
Which part?
See,
The Great Beyond or the Existential Plane, The Great Before?
Well, you never saw The Great Beyond. The Great Beyond was just like an
was a light.
It was one of those Jetsons.
Big giant bug zapper.
Yeah, yeah. No, not The Great Beyond, not Before Life. The one where they would have to
The astral
go.
plane.
Is it? Yeah, when they would go on the boat and then like they had the people who were in the zone.
Yeah, that was the zone.
Okay,
The Zone or the people that are obsessed with one thing.
I was okay. So that's my personal favorite world because I, as an artist, would understand what it's like to kind of be in that zone, where you're in that weird spot where you're working on whatever, you're really focused and nothing else, everything else is oblivious around you. So I thought that was cool.
And go a little further and it turns into obsession.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant too.
I agree
That
with
was
that.
when I fell in love, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. And it was all downhill after
That's
that.
that's exactly what I was going with. And at first, because I liked the world, I accepted the fact that it was basically a cheat. Like, I mean, because you got...
That's a good point.
The afterlife, it is before life. They have their rules strictly. It's how it is. This weird world where you're basically, it's almost like the world you can only touch if you're like, you have a hobby that you really, really like.
Right.
You can get away with just cut a hole in the sand and then boom, get your chance to get back to Earth. So it was like this coup de grace cheat, but it was a cool little world that they had. And I didn't get all of the, once it got to, here's the Dark Souls, and then they do this, and I was like, okay, now you got too many rules, and look, just stick with Earth. Like, once you're on Earth, just, I don't know.
like the trippy hippie dude that could go between both.
The side spinner guy? Yeah. He looked like Burger King or somebody, didn't he?
Burger King?
Yeah.
Oh, like the king? Yeah, you're right.
Not
thinner, though.
Very thinner.
Yeah, much thinner, yeah.
I did like him, though. He was a cool character. I did like him,
Yeah, he had a little element to it. I wish they would have done like a short or something, kind of preceding this or succeeding this, where afterwards they would have released it, where you kind of got to see a little bit more about how what makes him such a guru as a sign spinner. I thought it was cool, so fascinating.
Well, I did appreciate that one of the guys that was with his crew, I guess, was from the Philippines.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I picked that out. I was like, oh, he's a Filipino.
Well, it was they all had like cool things. They were into meditation and yoga and doing all this other kind of stuff, and he's just a sign spinner.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit curious to see how
and he's captaining the boat.
Yeah, he's running his right?
That is it.
He's got everything.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy that. I really did enjoy that one a lot. And again, it really kind of set the expectations high, and I would like to see how they did it. I did think that the hedge fund manager thing was a little preachy. It's like
go and live
they
your
capture
life.
the hedge fund manager, and he dissolves. He's like, make a trade. And they're like, oh, another hedge fund manager. Like,
Another hedge fund manager.
Right. It's the message being that here's people obsessed with doing nothing but making money for their, and then that's all they do, and and they get lost in life, and all of a sudden they release him, and he's like, I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that Disney is probably the last company that needs to be lecturing people about stepping away from the need to make every dime possible.
Good.
Yeah. Charging for magic bands now.
Charging
Parking
full
on site.
price for the park where nobody can go into it. Yeah, and then why don't they show the hedge fund manager get fired after he flips all that stuff over?
That's probably it. He was probably saving up to take his family on a Disney vacation.
That's it. Worked himself to death in the afterlife. Look at that computer screen.
Make a trade. Stay at the Polynesian. Make a trade.
Yeah. Make a trade. Stay at the All-Star.
Gotta get the park copper. Gotta get the park copper.
Village. Friendly.
Right. They should show what happened to him after he flipped all the people's desk over and stuff. Like, they probably went over to his wife and said, so you remember that money I was saving up? My soul is free, but my bank account is zero. Lost my job, baby. Lost my job.
And you got to pay for all the computers you destroyed.
Exactly. Don't you still love me, though, because I'm a free spirit?
No.
Of course you'll say yes.
I've been having an affair with your boss, Dave.
Hey! We booked a trip in Lee. We're going tomorrow. Yeah.
Booyah.
Free spirit that up your ass. Yes, absolutely. No, that's that was funny. But those were the only parts are really about that world that I dug. I didn't mind the like you said, the halls of everything. Like, that was cool. They could have spent some time in there. 22 not liking anything and just being, again, snarky.
But that was a weird one too, wasn't it? Like, because they make a whole big show of her tasting pizza for the first time, and just that's the first thing she really falls in love with. That's what makes her go on. She tastes pizza. And it kind of makes you reflect back on the Hall of Everything when they give her the taste the pizza goes right through them. They're like, you can't smell, you can't taste, you can't do anything. I'm like, well, why the would anybody want to be a baker? Who would want to be a chef if you can't smell or taste? That's the whole idea of food is the aroma, that's the taste.
Yeah, you got to think that maybe at some point she had some famous Italian chef as her mentor, because she had like 1,000 mentors. Maybe Chef Boyardee at least.
Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, why didn't Papa John help her out or somebody?
I don't remember seeing his name tag on the wall, but there were some impressive names. You saw Jack Kirby's name.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby, Joe Ranft. They even had like Harvey Milk's name. Just various famous figures. Like, she had a collection of name tags of all the people who tried to mentor her.
Johnny Cash on there.
Oh yeah, Johnny Cash was on there for sure. It just again, it comes across as like, wow. What if your thing was being a baker or a chef or something? How are you going to get that
right
from seeing food and not being able to experience it? I've never just seen food and been like, without the smell, without the taste, fallen in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm trying to think if I just saw sushi.
If you just saw a hunk of raw fish by itself,
would that be enough?
You'd probably be like, no.
Right.
If you just saw like a piece of steak, just like a charred piece of meat,
not knowing
without
what it
the
was,
smell, without having associated taste with it, you'd be like, ooh, like that's kind of
that's off-putting.
creepy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that whole thing made me then question the whole of everything, where it's like, surely there's going to be a lack of. I also didn't like, that was the other thing I didn't like about the other side. Like, they just decide for you. You four are aloof. you five are unexcitable. Like they just decide for you, and you get to choose. You get to find your own spark, but your own personality. No, you are what we say you are.
I didn't get what the personality had to do with any part of the movie. And like you said, maybe you got a connection to it that I don't, but I didn't get what that had to do with anything. Like, even like you said, they threw him in somewhere. And they would throw him into these random yellow buildings. The buildings had no signs. They had nothing that said snarky or, like you said, apologetic or anything like that. I mean, it was just too.
They would say it. They were like, you four are aloof. You five are excitable. They would say it and they would send them off. And I'm like, okay. And again, that's why I went back and watched it a second time. It's like, because this all seems cool. But then you watch it a second time and you're like, well, that's kind of broke that they're just deciding for you.
But what does the personality...
But they can't find your own spark. You have to find that.
What does that have to do with going and diving down the big hole to Earth and being whatever? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it defeats the purpose. You can't have a personality that's terrible and then have a spark for life at the same time, right? Unless you have good medication, I would imagine. But so that part of it, I didn't understand.
I was wondering why that journey to Earth was so long.
Which one?
And what were they traveling through? Was that just like space?
That big portal where they all get their little Earth badges?
When they jump they're going to Earth and they jump.
That's however long it took them to be born. Like, your mom was in labor for 6 hours.
So they're following for 9 months?
Yeah. It took them 9 months and 6 hours to get down to Earth.
There's no gravity.
Clearly, Lee believes that your soul doesn't enter your body until you're born. Because I was like, they were purposely avoiding that. When does the soul enter into the tummy? They were avoiding that one like the plague.
That's fair.
Well, they did touch upon, and not to offend any religious people, they did it. Some people believe that animals don't have souls. Yet, here's a cat.
But somehow the cat got his soul back.
Exactly.
I was gonna say I felt bad. Yeah, I was gonna say I felt bad for the cat because the cat lost his soul, and the cat's soul was on the way to the great beyond, and it was like, I don't even have cats. I was just like, damn, though, I'm sorry, Mr. Snuffles or whatever the cat's name was.
I don't remember the cat's name,
but how did he get its spirit back? It just did it, right?
Yeah, and wouldn't that messed up Terry's count now that you just lost another soul?
Yeah, it would.
So they have to do two of those things,
right? They'd have to make him look twice,
right?
Look twice.
Yeah, well, does an animal soul count as much as a human soul? Is
Depends
that like half a soul?
Depends on the religion.
He was on the conveyor belt along with everybody else, I guess. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was a separate conveyor belt. Maybe there's a pet conveyor. I don't know.
Oh, it could be. Yeah.
It could have been a different conveyor belt. That's true.
I'm just saying, I won't get too heady into that, but
it's heady.
Yeah, and but that part was weird. So okay, now as far as like the city, I agree. They did the city really well. I love the barbershop scene. That was.
We love barbershop scenes in this show.
Yeah. Actually, the guy who cut his hair he did kind of remind me of my barber. My barber has dreads, but he had a big beard like that. He's a cool guy.
Donnell Rawlings, man.
Yeah, so I like that, and I like the fact that since 22 had possessed Joe, he was like, "Yeah, Joe, you've never talked to me about what I love to do. We usually just talk about only things that you like to do." So I thought that was pretty neat because that does put a nice little perspective on the typical barbershop conversation in the neighborhood. Because usually the barber just asks you about yourself, and it's
never vice versa,
right? I mean, I talked to my barber like that. I gave him passes to the zoo at one point. He was like, "Oh, dude, you cool." I'm like, now you know this because I gave you tickets, but it's okay.
I know, every time I heard him speak, I kept thinking Ashley Larry.
Yeah, I'm in.
He sounded completely different, but I was waiting for that voice.
Everybody's getting lollipops and stuff in there, but that scene was cool. That was one of my favorite ones. I thought it was weird with 22 being in Joe's body, like doing all that weird stuff, like laying on the vents. I get why they had to do it, but laying on the vents and all that crazy stuff. I was like, come on, you gotta make this man look that insane, do you? But whatever, like that would lose me in those certain parts. Well, what did y'all think about when he had to go and visit his mom in the the dressing shop.
I think I was just distracted by the fact that it was Felicia Rashad more than anything.
There's man, she's got that stern voice.
She does. I love it. I'm sitting there listening. I was like, is that Felicia? And then she said something. I'm like, yeah, that's her.
Yeah, she's very, very articulate.
And I think because of that, I was just distracted. Whatever the hell was going on. She could have said the freaking, I don't know, recited the Constitution. I would have been happy.
Did you feel like a Cosby kid, like when she was talking, kind of like telling you, no, you can't, you got to pitch, you get this. Don't worry about your dreams.
It's funny you say that because we, my family and I for the past month have been binge watching Cosby Show during dinner.
Oh, what channel is that?
It's on HBO. Oh no, Amazon Prime.
When they got
app. Yeah. So but anyway, sorry, I digress.
Yeah, that's the part where again I started to really question, like, man, how are they portraying women in this movie? Because Felicia Rashad,
Libby.
Libby. What else?
Yeah, what else? Yeah,
Yes,
she's not very supportive of Joe, and has to be really made to understand that Mom, this is my drink. Yeah, exactly. Like, just the fact that he felt like he had to avoid his mother and lie to his mother because he knew that she is that unsupportive of his dream. And then you got the Dorothea Williams character. The minute she meets him, she's belittling him. Oh, now we're resorting to high school teachers? Or what is this? All right, do your best. And then fires him the minute she sees him in the hospital again. How do you know the dude didn't almost have like a heart attack and was racing home?
Because he was eating pizza.
We need a nurse. But I mean,
it's funny, that part, it was fine for me because, like, I know there are musicians that have names that are dicks that are just like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
I mean, we know. Yeah, we know people.
Yes, we know people. Yes. And then you got 22, who clearly entered into an agreement with him to go back to Earth and broke it whenever she felt like it, just to go exploring, messing up his life. I mean, he had like, if not for Terry hijacking, she would have ran off and did her own thing. You would have missed the gig, and that would be into that.
That's what I said. Like, you were asking earlier about, do you feel bad?
Right.
Do you want to cry? I was like, no. That's what I was trying to say in the spoiler-free part. No, because she's like, oh, I missed this, I missed that. Like, yeah, but you're in this dude's body. So, like, I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad for him because he has to go on this journey to not only get his body back, but he's got to chase you down. Like, no, I don't care what you do, 22. Muhammad Ali don't even like you.
Get your own.
How am I supposed to like you?
Mother Teresa don't even like you.
Mother Teresa don't like you.
That was funny.
You threw the rosary at Mother Teresa. Wait, come on.
It's like, get your own body now.
Yeah, exactly.
You found your spark, you want to live, now get your own body, but don't take mine.
Right. Don't take my life. And that is a thing that some women will do. So, but that's a different thing altogether.
Two women in his life, both of them are ball busters. He gets his third. He makes a deal with her. It's a mutually agreeable deal.
Yes.
They both getting what they want. And she's like, nah, I had a second thought. Never mind.
I'm running away. Come back here. Burger King right over here to help me.
Taking your body with me, dude.
Now, the mom, okay, so like the mom, when I saw it the second time, I'm with you. The first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, dang, lady, she cold. But then when I saw it the second time, I guess, like, I was like, well, oh, she's got a point. She just needed to say, just working on the weekend, baby. That's all, that's all she really needed to say. That would have made it work. Because, again, y'all told me different, but I was like, I didn't really feel like what he was able to do, and pretty much what he died for was that huge. Like, if he was just like, I just want to play with a band.
I get you there, right? Because it wasn't like he was going to be playing Carnegie Hall or something. It was really, and even she said, like, this is it. This is what we're doing. You're already in it. You're in the ocean.
Oh, that
so it wasn't like
I didn't get water.
Right. So it wasn't like he made, like, once he got to play, it was some huge, life-changing event. It was just like, okay, man, we'll meet back here tomorrow and do the same thing.
Well, I got the impression that there's that, but I also got the feeling I'm not feeling what I'm supposed to feel because perhaps he was racked by guilt because he cost 22, and then that's when he does is he goes back home and he plays. And so, I mean, we never got to see what Joe did with his life afterwards, and that's the thing. And it could have legit gone in 3 or 4 different directions. He could have been a music teacher. He could have gone and gave up Dorothy Williams and went and found Lisa and hooked up there. He could have done we don't know what he would have done with himself. So the interpretation is pretty much up to you. But I kind of got the impression, and it's completely subjective. I could be completely wrong. I got this impression that maybe he wasn't enjoying it as much because clearly he was enjoying it, doing it. But I thought that maybe he was racked with guilt because he destroyed 22's chance of doing.
See, but okay.
I could see
And
that.
this is the other thing. So he was performing, like when he got the gig, he finally got the gig and got what he wanted. 22 was in the Berks. Like even when he played, it was to a really small crowd because it was a small place. I mean, his boss showed up, so that was nice. Have
you been to New York?
No, I've never been to New York.
Okay, I've gone to Comedy Cellar. Have you ever heard of Comedy Cellar?
No.
Okay, that's the point. That's one of the biggest, every major comedian Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill, oh God, name them, Nick DiPaolo, Colin Quinn, like a lot of big name celebrities got their start at the Comedy Cellar. It's a whole, it's literally, it's a basement.
It's typical, yeah.
And I went and saw, when we went to New York, that was one of the first things I'm like, what do you want to do? You want to see this show? No, I want to go to the Comedy Cellar. And it's a tiny room. And it's underground, just like they portrayed. It's kind of like, you saw like scenes of Joe running around in his hospital gown, and no one in the streets reacting to it, except for Dorothea. Everyone else is just like going about their business. That's frickin' New York. Like, some people who've never been might be like, why the hell is nobody looking at the crazy dude in the hospital gown? Because it's New York.
No, that's fair, because if you drive around Desire or some part around here to the bridge, you see dudes in hospital gowns all the time, and you just be like, hey, as long as he had asked me for a quarter, he good. So, okay, that I can get.
And they definitely have rats carrying around pizza throughout the city as well.
Oh, that was fun. The rat was like, hey, you got pizza, I got pizza. Let's just walk by each other. But when I saw it the second time, and his mom is talking to him, and she's like, well, yeah, you got the job and this and that and the other. I kind of was like, all right, I'll give you credit on that. I've never been to New York and everything like that. But easily, that wasn't like too ball busted, because she was just saying, well, look, you got a job in music and you got everything you need. They could have just easily been like, here's your suit. Like, okay, you going to do this thing to keep your dream going? Because he'd already had the job. So I didn't take it the second time as her busting his chops. She just sounds like a cold chick, Well,
I mean, I think you could clearly see that him and his mom did not have a great relationship.
He was afraid of her.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Clearly he loved his dad. You don't really see or hear much about the dad, except in those couple of flashbacks, and then, when he takes him to the jazz club, and then when he's playing piano with him and his dad's old, and it's clearly it's he and his dad's thing. And when you look at the relationship between him and his mom, I mean, they have a come to Jesus meeting right there in the store because she refused to fix his suit for him, and which he makes her understand. It's probably a conversation they should have had a long time ago, but he couldn't afford to lie to her anymore. He had to finally face up to who she was and make her understand his passion. And so I'm with you. Like, you and I have strong mothers, and they come across as incredibly pains in the butts to some other people who might see it, but it's all out of love and caring. And I'm just saying, it's in this film, he's scared of her.
Yeah, and she also, and again, like, there's a part like after she deals with the suit, and she says it, she's like, hey, look, while he was doing his thing, I was here working. Now, she doesn't say, unless I don't think I'm wrong, but she doesn't say something like, hey, you know what? I wanted to be a go-go dancer or whatever, and I had to put my dreams aside because I had this store.
Right.
I mean, I got the impression that's what she liked to do, and she was doing her thing. Now, they didn't give her a line to kind of convey that, but she was basically saying, look, I supported a musician once already. I'm not going to be here forever. Who's going to support you?
Well, I think, her focus was on her family.
Yeah.
And what she did. And that kind of related back. And that is something that they get into at the end of the movie, which I did like, was that Joe was confused. He thought your spark was your purpose. And so if you fail to live up to whatever sparked you, if you didn't live up to it, then you failed to live up to your purpose. Hence, you were a failure in life. At the end, they kind of just dismiss that like, no, that
it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not even close to the same thing. And I think the mom got that, whereas he didn't. And I think in her mind, it's like, look, my purpose was my family. Just as Des was like, look, I could have been this and that and the other, but hey, I just like being here talking to people and helping people out. And so I think that's where it came to be, is that the mom becomes more of a sympathetic figure, but you have to break down that facade. She's an obstacle. She is very much an obstacle to him getting what he wants, until he has to make her see things how he sees them.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. There's not a whole lot of, again, I'm not saying it's negative towards women. I'm just saying it's not necessarily the most
endearing look.
Exactly. The most caring and helpful portrayal.
Well, when you introduce
more
her,
obstacles.
Yeah, but when you introduce that character, when you introduce his mom, she's fixing some lady's collar. She's got a pin like right to the woman's neck, and the lady's like, "Just agree with her.
Yes, yes.
Just say yes."
Yeah, I didn't get Joe with the whole gig thing when they had. I like the conversation he had outside of the club after the gig with Dorothea Williams, and she told him the whole thing about this ocean thing.
The fish.
And he's like, "Now what?" You know.
I think it was a subliminal message to all of us to go watch Finding Nemo instead. And
That's probably what it was. Yes.
You'll be awake for that one.
Go watch a better film.
I'm like, to me, in my head, I'm like, motherfucker, you just got a gig and you get to do it again the next night. Why the hell are you set?
Right,
It's not what you
okay.
expected. I thought this is what the film was building up upon. Because, yeah, everybody in the city in New Orleans does do that. There are music teachers in the day and they gig at night.
Yeah.
I did that when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what's the problem? You're not married. You ain't got no kids. You can do that life.
Not that much younger either.
Yeah. And it's like...
A few years ago, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, until COVID, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing good.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, what's the problem? Is that, you know, and the only thing I could think of is when he was like kind of disappointed. Maybe, yeah, he had some regret that what he did to 22, but at the same time, it's like maybe he didn't think that was all that. And it's like, well, maybe you need to question your life. What is it really? I mean, is it you really want to play, or is this not what you want to do?
Or it could be like he made music the end all be all, and maybe it was like, man, okay, I made this my sole purpose in life, but what about a family? What about love? What about kids? What about friends? You know, what about having people around me? Like, you know, I made this the be all end all, and now that I'm here, I've got no one to share it with. A wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whoever. I don't know.
Lisa?
I mean,
Yeah, Lisa could be
exactly.
a boyfriend.
Go with Lisa. Whatever.
Yeah. I feel like I would have enjoyed this movie much more if they would have really hit that point home. That it's not about, you know, being a famous musician or this and the other. It's about, because, you know, they have the flashbacks with the girl that's, you know, he's kind of a mentor to her, that not a saxophone, the trombone player. You know, he had a conversation with the barber who's like, no, you know, like I'm happy with what I'm doing. It's not what I planned, but, you know, I'm happy with what I'm doing. So if that was the central message, that's, again, I said it before, this is my whole problem with this movie, is it didn't know what it wanted to say and it didn't know what it wanted to do. And I think if that would have been ultimately the focal point of the movie and it really would have hit, and they would have hit on that harder, I would have enjoyed this movie more. Mm-hmm. As you said, too, if we would have seen that ultimately he gets fulfillment out of whatever it is he does decide to do, then I would have enjoyed it more as well.
To me, it seemed like the overall message of this movie, and this happened both times, is just live your life in the now. That's it.
See, I got something different.
That's all I got. It's like live, appreciate what you have going on right now at this very minute versus whatever you may have worried about in the past that led you up to this point now, or whatever you're anxious about in the future, which may be the big gig or something else. But it's like, regardless, you should just live right now.
That makes sense because you never know when some accountant chicks are going to come up and make you fall through a parallelogram and then kill you. So that's totally fair.
Okay, and this is actually good because I mean, and that is actually a sign of a better movie than what you would think, and that you know, you can have 2 or 3 to 4 people walk away with different impressions of what the movie's message was. Mm-hmm. So, Kevin, you said your impression of the message was what now?
It's just living in the now.
Living in the now.
Living now, right this very minute, every single minute of your life.
All right, E?
I got the impression that the biggest thing in the life is to mentor others. Because for the most part, the mom was trying to mentor him. He was trying to mentor kids. Then he had to try to mentor 22. But then when 22 took over her body, she like mentored the whole like African American neighborhood and put them all fleek. And then like, you know, then like after she goes ahead and does her thing, then she teaches Joe about, you know, all the stuff that she saw out of life, therefore changing him. So then he went and, you know what I'm saying? So it was like,
you saying African Americans need Tina Fey?
Apparently so. And Copernicus, you know, like, you know, the barbershop is, it gets heady, but it's never that deep with people sucking on blow pops, hearing about philosophy from Copernicus and everything. But, yeah.
Supercuts ain't nothing like that.
No, not my neighborhood barbershop. Trust me, they talk about a bunch of different things. That is not one of them. Like everybody wants to be a rapper, maybe, but not a veterinarian.
I just thought it was funny on Christmas Day that two big movies that came out, both had SNL stars on it.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Lee, what did you think? What was the message?
Again, I just ultimately, I think the message is do what you can with the time you have on Earth. But I feel like that's the reason why I did not enjoy this movie, because there wasn't a clear message. Like, I'm still, again, I said at the beginning of the show, like, after watching it 2 times, I'm still kind of like, what is this movie about? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still lost on it, like, to what the ultimate message is. And if I had, again, gun to the head, if I had to make a statement, I'd say that do the most you can with the time you have here. Even then, I feel like I'm kind of stretching to say that.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of a good. I don't want to be beaten over the head with the message too much. Like I said, to me, the message can be summed up in the typical Pixar proverb, which is, whatever your destination is in life, it's not that important whether you achieve it or whether you don't achieve it. It's the journey to get there, and take the time to appreciate the journey. I think that's the message that I said that from the beginning. I still say it now, that's what I think that they were going for. I like that we can all sit here and say, what was Joe's meaning then? When Joe said, I just didn't mean all to me. I like that we can all sit here and say, well, maybe he was guilt-ridden. Maybe he felt like, okay, I made this my sole purpose in life, but what about a family? What about love? What about friends? Maybe that was what it was. I love that we can all sit here and have this conversation as to what that meant. So I don't need to be hit over the head with the message. I like the idea that we can sit here and interpret them, and that different people in the message to you is going to be more personal to you. Because, again, this movie spoke to all 4 of us.
It did, yeah. You're absolutely right.
No doubt about that.
It had to. We're the age group for this. It's sad to say, and that a Pixar movie, we're the focus. We're
the focus group.
We're the younger side of that focus group. Anything.
Because we have a chance to turn our life around.
That's right.
I would have liked to see the Lisa thing. I don't know why I'm harping on that, because the more I think about it, it's like, there was Lisa. You never saw Lisa.
That's where you coming from.
Yeah, but that's right. Lisa Bowen.
Man, yeah.
Because he's just chasing Lisa.
He's chasing Lisa. Yeah.
Very nice.
That's it. You don't see her in the Hall of Memories. He says, don't worry about it. That might have made a completely different impact on that movie.
No, the Hall of You. And
Hall of View.
That was, again, that's the one that sinks this movie for me. That Hall of View was an incredibly manipulative. Even like you said, even if he would have been in the Hall of View and would have seen something of Lisa, that would have inspired him to realize that there was something beyond that. But to walk into the Hall of View and have the Hall of View portray his life as the sham, was depressing. I will say, I don't want to reiterate what we did say, but did you notice, like, when he was Dr. Bjorgensen or whatever, the partner statue, tribute in the Hall of View?
Oh, that was cute.
Okay, I thought that was a cute thing that was worth pointing out.
One of my favorite lines was when Terry's searching through all the files, and he goes, "Man, there's a lot of Garcias in here."
I was like, what was that? when I heard that line, I was like, what? Come on, man.
I thought it was funny. Because my wife's Hispanic, and it's, you're around her culture, and it's true. It's like, man, yeah, my cousin so and so Garcia, my so and so Garcia, my aunt is Linda Garcia.
I'm not going to say that's racist, but isn't that kind of racial?
Oh, movie
a little
racial.
bit, but it's still funny. Like, I guess, like, if you're part of that culture, you can take it for the joke that it is.
Well, if you're any part of if they would have said a lot of Johnsons in here, I would have snickered at that as well. I don't think it has to do with your race or your culture. It has to do with your sensitivity. If you're going to take offense to anything,
it's a sensitive world.
Yeah, man. Well. Yeah, go figure. But no, I had absolutely no problem with it. I'm just saying I'm surprised that no one has said anything.
Yeah. So after our discussion, just to kind of wrap this up, did your grade change any from the beginning of the show to now?
A little bit.
Did it?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, I would say instead of, what did I say before C+?
You said C+, yeah.
You know what? No, it's still a C+.
It's still a C+?
It's still a C+.
I think I was at a B minus, right? I would give it a B only because I didn't realize like they were going with authenticity with him getting the gig. Like that was one of the points that was killing it for me, but it makes sense if that's realistically how it is. If he's supposed to be legitimately excited that he gets to work in this.
Well, he's supposed to be, and I wanted to slap him because, like, dude, motherfucker, take the full-time teaching day gig and then do the damn night gig. What the hell's wrong with that? I would love that. I would love that.
I thought the exact same thing.
Jesus, what's the problem?
I'm not overly familiar, but I know enough to know that that's how most musicians kind of hack it in this
It's like,
world.
what, you're not happy? What, you really want to be a musician?
All right.
What were you expecting?
You want your mama to take care of you for the rest of your life?
You want Sony or Epic or somebody to come here and give you the album offer? No, that's not how it works.
I would have been nice too, right? At the end of it, somebody said, "Wow, the thing is bad. You guys play great." Bam, he's off to it. Then,
Guess what?
You know he got paid really low though to be a full-time teacher. You know he did.
Yeah, but you still need to eat, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know for me, I was hovering with the 7 and 8, and I'll tell you, it pushed to an 8. I'll give it a solid 8 now.
With an 8,
and part of the reason, majority of the reason for that is the fact that Danny pointed out is the points that we all came away from were varied. And I was like, well, that is a pretty good point, and that's very cool that we all came away with something different.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't think.
With you in a Pixar movie, at least.
I don't know.
No, I don't know that. I like that. I mean, look, was that the intention? I'm sure the director has true message in mind that he was hoping we all got. So,
but the fact that it didn't, I'm glad it didn't.
I am as well, because it allows for good discussion and interpretation.
And maybe it's a little more complex than he thought.
Sure.
With that.
What about you, Lee?
See, that was what I was going to say. Do you think? Well, okay, so I'll give it a B minus, since that's what you guys were doing with the letters. But at the beginning of the show, I said a 6, maybe a 7. I'll stick with the 7. So I still think it's going to be, below the top 10 for our Pixar movies. It's going to be in the bottom 10. I think there's like 22 movies in Pixar right now, so it's definitely going to be in the bottom half ultimately. But I think maybe this might be a movie that is going to age with time, and like a little fine wine, is going to get better, and we're going to enjoy it or appreciate it more down the line. But right now, I think that's where I'd stick. Like I said, B minus. On a 1 to 10, I give it a 7, and it's going to rank in the bottom half of all Pixar movies.
I think y'all all talked ourselves in the higher grade because we had such a great discussion about it.
Oh, that was
Well, it's a heady.
It is.
Eli said it's a heady movie, man. Like once you start talking it out and hearing other perceptions, you're like, okay, yeah, I see that point. And
y'all ignoring your actual feelings from watching the movie and like, you know what? Now that we think about it a little bit, and there could be this and there could be this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to...
Well, we're well rested now from seeing the movie. Yeah,
I've got no issue with it.
I think the irony here is with this movie, this was an ensemble piece that we all needed to talk about, because like you said, we all saw from different spots and had different names. So yeah, it took a whole ensemble, and that's a band term, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Quartet.
You're jazzing now.
Hey, we're jazzing.
Yeah, you're jazzing.
There it is.
That's right.
Let me lay on the vent.
Oh yeah, a quick PA public service announcement for the Magic Hour podcast for local New Orleanians and stuff, or Louisianians. Mardi Gras falls in the same time as President's Day, so beware of crowds should you decide to travel during Mardi Gras week in Walt Disney World.
Yeah, because New Orleans people don't have nothing to do for Mardi Gras this year.
That's exactly, yeah. And then everybody else with President's Day off, usually it's crowded. All right, guys, well, look, we hope you enjoyed that discussion about Soul, and we're curious to know what your thoughts are on the movie. And if you want to get in touch with us or share your opinions, we're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Well, guys, if you want to learn more about us so that you can share your opinions, go to magicourway.com. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, to get in touch with us to share your opinion, you can do so through the following ways. Shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com. Use the voicemail widget on our homepage. Not voicemail, the speak pipe widget on our homepage.
That thing.
And you can call or text us at 1-815-MOWEEKEND. That is 1-815-MOWEEKEND. 669-4226. I'm Kevin.
It's Kevin.
I am Kevin.
Kevin. It's like Groot over there.
I am Kevin. I am Kevin. I am Kevin. I am Kevin.
Hey, Bob Blackfeld here. Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino, Marvel Comics, Image Comics, all of it. You guys, what is up? Eli Ivory. What a great name. Eli Ivory, comic guru. I'm here to talk about you. I am here to say, check out ivorycomics.com. That's right, you. Check out ivorycomics.com. ivorycomics.com. If you're not doing that, you're missing out. You're missing out. The Savages comic cannot be beat, cannot be surpassed. You need to check it out, experience it for yourself. and you know the story. It's all about the glory. Congrats to you and all the magic that you're making with your Ivory Comics. Eli Ivory, comic book guru. Check out ivorycomics.com, comic book guru. Eli Ivory, the whole package. Deadpool said to. Do it. ivorycomics.com right now. Liefeld out.
See, now that's what I understand about the artist and his dream right there. Only by just working forward to have the art brought to you that you heard from Mr. Liefeld himself. Do I get Mr. Liefeld to do an introduction for me? So again, you heard what the man said. You can visit the Ivory Comics website, see all that good art out there. Savages you read for free. Can't be beat, can't be surpassed, fully colored, fully lettered. It's the whole thing.
And if not, you're missing out. You're missing out.
You're missing out. There's action, there's tanks, there's animals, there's jetpacks,
sex.
there's almost, but there's hot chicks, and I want kids to read it too.
Can you write me a comic book?
I can make you a comic hero, dude. That's right. I can do anything.
I want to be a lover.
All right.
Not a fighter.
that's your code name, Lothario.
That's right.
Kevin Lothario.
Come here, Black Widow.
What up, girl? Let's
smoke the peace pipe.
I got a special mission for you, and it's secret. Don't tell my
Kevin's going to start the Me Too Marvel movie.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby, you can always.
We're going to shag.
That's it. And then you can always follow the link that's called I Am Kevin Lothario, so you never miss out. And, of course, you always can follow a link to the Magic Our Way podcast, so you never miss an episode. You get all this craziness with the cool art. It's all the inspiration you need to go into the great beyond, or the one place, or the Hall of You, or the Hall of Comics, all the halls. Uriah Hall, thank you, Hall.
Monty Hall.
That's right, Hall of Notes. All day, every day.
They all asked for you.
You. Make yourself happy. Facebook.com, you can find me there, Eli H. Ivory. You can also see the Project Geisha page on Facebook as well. Instagram, I'm out there posting the hearts and the likes and the words and all that good stuff. That's EIvory504 right there. Although I might just change my name to I Am Kevin. I just really rolls off the tongue really well.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
All right, I'm going to do that.
Embrace that.
It's a new year. I'm Kevin. There you go. And, of course, on Twitter, you can follow me at Hancock10166. So if you appreciate the madness that you're just bringing me the gladness, thank you very much.
Eli, we are Kevin.
We are Kevin.
That's right.
I like it. It's like a collective.
That's right.
Like the Borg.
The Borg.
There's no one Kevin in this group. It's all Kevin.
It's Kevin United.
Are Kevin.
That's right.
That's right.
We are Kevin.
And guys,
Which
look.
part of Kevin are you, though? Just curious.
The part that's loved the most.
Oh, I know which one Kevin loves the most.
Can you dig it?
That's a great question. Which part of Kevin are you?
If you want to let us know what part of me you is, choose the email at show@magicourway.com.
His you is or his you ain't Kevin's part.
That's right, my baby. And look, if you want to book a vacation during President's Week or Mardi Gras Week, you can do so through Lee. Lee, tell them how to do this.
Just give me a call at 832-431-1621. That's 832-JERRY, and Jerry. 832-JRY. You can email me at lee@magicourway.com. You can check me out at Facebook at facebook.com/Lastovica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. On Instagram, you can find me at You Got a Friend in Lee Travel. And if you do need that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with no.
Hasselvika.
Wouldn't it be funny, like with all the Jerrys, if that the main person, instead of being called Terry, would have been called Ben? I think that would have been better.
George?
It would have helped to stick it out a little bit more.
Jerry. Oh, hey, Ben.
It was all androgynous.
Daryl.
Yeah.
Larry and
brother Daryl.
You want to go to the Great Beyond? Here's the quad. He going to lead you over there. Hey,
The Quan?
The quad, yeah.
Daquan.
Daquan.
DeQueezy.
Is that the kid's name from Goonies? Daquan Hugh or some short round? Something?
I don't know, but when I was sick, I took Daquan during the day because I didn't want to fall asleep, and I took Nyquan.
Nyquan?
So I could.
Oh, he's the guy that
rest
kept
better.
dropping the passes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's him.
That's
Okay.
it. That's
My
it.
bad.
I got you, yeah.
Got him confused.
Daquan Green. That's my boy. All right. What's
Well,
up?
ladies and gentlemen, look, it's 2021. Look, there's so many ways to support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Any way in which you can support the show is greatly appreciated. Also, we want to take a second and thank you for being a loyal listener. This is our road to 400, and we want you to be part of it. So we always love hearing from our listeners, so make sure you get in touch with us today. Summer Weekends, ladies and gentlemen, we say Kwaherini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Kevin.
Magic out.
We are Kevin.
I have every intention of eating those bananas for breakfast, but I still somehow end up with tacos.
Bendy Meat 6. It's in there. Just watch the movie a third time. You'll catch it.